Okay. So we saw up until 21st verse. I will see 22nd to 27th. And with that, we'll conclude the 14th chapter, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. 21st verse, we saw where Arjuna is asking Krishna, how do you recognize somebody who's gone above the three gunas? Kair lingaihi, what are the linga, what are the symbols? Kair lingaihi, त्रीन गुणान एतान अतीतः भवति प्रभो किमाचरः किम आचरः कथम what is the behavior, how is this person, च एताम स्त्रीन गुणान अतिवर्तते, one who has gone beyond these three gunas, how does he behave, how does he appear, how does he move? So Bhagavan explains to him. Jnaneshwar in his Sant Jnaneshwar, in his very interesting style, he says, Krishna tells Arjuna, oh Arjuna, it is strange you're asking such a question. It is like asking how a moving object can remain still. A person who has risen above the qualities cannot be subject to them. Now, if you are asking me, oh Arjuna, how can a person know whether he is bound by the qualities or not when he is entangled? That is something I can explain. See, very interesting, this Jnaneshwari, the way Sant Jnaneshwar adds a lot of masala into the way he's describing the conversation. And he also kind of goes beyond and reads Krishna's mind to say, like I already told you in the second chapter, no, why are you asking me again? Sthita pragya se ka bhasha. He asked that question and I responded to you at much detail. Now, all the way you're coming to the 14th chapter and suddenly you're asking me the same question. So, but here he's asking from a different perspective. He's saying, there you said sthita prajna, here you're talking about gunas. Everybody is governed by gunas. Nobody is escaping that. Everybody is under the sway of gunas. Be it an object, because the whole world is created from the three gunas, pravritti, the prakriti. Prakriti is three gunas. Everything is created from the three gunas, and so is Jnani also. Sthita prajna is also made of three gunas only. How does he escape it? And one is escaping it. How do I recognize such a person? How do I know that this person, how does he move? How does he walk? How does he stay? What does he do? So Krishna goes on to explain, 22nd verse, Shri Bhagavan uvacha prakashancha pravrittincha moham eva cha pandava nadveshti sampravrittani nanavrittani kankshati udasinavad asinah gunairyo na vichalyate gunavartanta ityevam yovatishtati nengate. So it is the same response he gives, just different words he is using. Prakasham cha pravrittim cha moham eva cha pandava na dveshti sampravrittani nanavrittani kankshati. So this person is not swayed by the three gunas. He does not hate, nor is he deluded by them. He doesn't say, I don't want anything to do with the three gunas. I don't want to be bothered by them. He does not have either a strong disregard for that. At the same time, he doesn't, if something is absent, he doesn't miss it. So even to the extent of saying that if he feels that there is lack of knowledge of something, it doesn't bother him. For us, if we think that we lack knowledge in something, it bothers us. Correct? If we are in a group, we want to be seen as somebody who knows. And if we are seen as though somebody who doesn't know, or at that time in that conversation, ideas don't occur, I don't say anything, and then possibly people think that possibly this guy doesn't know, or we actually that at that time the knowledge did not occur to us, it bothers us, right? People think, oh, you no, I studied this, it is there in the tip of my tongue. My God, it'll create a whole lot of distress. And if you're not able to say that in the sadhas where you've got it, but you're not able to say it, so there's a certain lacking. That bothers us. He's saying a tattvajnani, or one who has gone beyond the three gunas, even the lack of knowledge doesn't bother him. Which means the recognition that I am sattva. Sattva is what? Knowledge, illumination, understanding. And a lot of times, sattva, somebody who is sattvic, to him, if he doesn't know something he thinks he's supposed to know, it will bother him. Very sattvic person, but inside that botheration will be there. But a jnani or a sthita prajna or a tattvajna, the one who's got the realization of the truth, this will not bother him, because this is also in the realm of knowledge. If you remember, even Upanishads is considered as aparavidya. Even the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Shastras, everything is aparavidya. The knowledge of the self alone is paravidya. So if I don't remember a particular verse or a particular shloka or a particular phrase or a saying or a quote, it's all right. We shouldn't judge ourselves from that standpoint. What is important is where my mind is. Is my mind centered? Is my mind centered above the three gunas? So he says, such a person, pravrittin prakashancha pravrittincha moham evacha pandava. He does not get swayed by moham evacha pandava. Either is prakasha or pravritti, which means there is light or illumination or there is activity. He is not bothered. Nadveshti sampravrittani nanvrittani kankshati. He does not get disturbed by something that is uh, um, when something is present, some pravrittani, or something is absent, na nivrittani, kankshati. Kankshati is he does not long for it. Then he says udasinavat asinaha, which means he remains neutral. He is situated asinaha udasinavat, as though he is neutral. Gunairyo na vichalyate. He does not get disturbed by the three modes. Na vichalyate means disturbed, doesn't get disturbed. Gunavartanta ityevam yovatishtati nengate. He does not waver and remains established. Because the gunas do their work. Our idea is to bring our attention back to that center and know that I am that self, I am that Atma. A very beautiful verse in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which defines what is Upanishad. It says, Aditya Mandalasya Upanishad Ahaha, which is day, Ahaha Aditya Mandalasya Upanishad. Aham Adhyatma Mandalasya Upanishad. Day is the Upanishad or the essence of Aditya Mandala, Surya Mandala. Aham is the Adhyatma Mandalasya Upanishad. It is the essence of the spiritual understanding or spiritual essence. Aditya Mandalasya, Adhyatma Mandalasya Upanishad is Aham. Aham is this recognition of this I. That centering is important. And knowing that the gunas will play their part, it will suddenly make me feel high, good, great. Suddenly it will make me feel depressed. Suddenly it may make me feel lazy. Suddenly it may make me feel very active, engaged. We should see all of this. Even feeling good and intelligent and bright, and suddenly in one's others in group, aha, enna pesinar, enna சொன்னார். Oh, that will also be there. Suddenly you will feel so depressed. What is life? What is there? Why am I living? What value do I have? Nobody needs me. And then suddenly we are active. I want to do this. When I have the energy, I need to do this, this, this. All of the three cases we see, we should not get swayed by any one of those. Then suddenly it feels very empty. Then what is my motivation? What am I living for? Right? We need some motivation, some direction, some guidance, something to do. So he says, such a person doesn't look for this. He says, Samadukha sukhaswastaha samaloshtasmakanchanaha tulya priya priyo dhiraha tulya nindatma samstutihi. He remains established in the self in sukha, dukkha. For him, loshta and kanchana. Loshta, ashma, kanchana. Whether it's an iron rod or a stone or gold, it is the same for him. Tulya priya apriyaha. It is equal in his liking for it, liking or disliking. It is the same. Then dhiraha tulya nindatma samstutihi. So for such person, he remains steady in ninda or atma samstutihi, which means there is insult or there is praise. Mana apamanayoho tulyo mitrari pakshayoho. So he remains, whether there is mana or honor given to him or there is dishonor, he remains the same to he remains the same, and he also remains the same to mitra ripu mitra ari pakshayoho. Ari means an enemy, mitra means a friend. So between a friend or an enemy, he remains the same. Sarvarambha parityagi guna atitah sa uchyate. So such a person has abandoned all sarvarambha, which means all kinds of engagements. Parityagi and guna atita sa uchyate. Such a person has gone beyond the three gunas. So how does he achieve it? By continuous practice. Of course, in the next one, Bhagavan will say that by unwavering devotion to me. Right? But in our day-to-day engagements, this is almost impossible. This is almost impossible because you're motivated to live by achieving and attaining, wanting to attain something. Only adhyatma or spiritual understanding is when you've come to a point of the futility of it. My attempt to do, to achieve, to gain, to want, to have, to possess, to create this, if this is the driving force of why I'm living, when you come to the futility of it, that is where adhyatma bhava begins. That is where spiritual understanding starts dawning. Till then, we will continue to think that if I drop all of this, then what is the purpose of living? What do I live for? Jiddu Krishnamurti says it very beautifully. Somebody asked him, why are you teaching? Why are you going around? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? He said, what is the interviewer asks him, what is the purpose? Jiddu says that, what is the purpose of a rose? What is the purpose of a rose? It exists. That's all. It exists. And by mere presence, it gives a fragrance. And there are people who are getting the fragrance, they'll get drawn to the fragrance, they'll say, aha, what a rose, all of that. But what is the rose's purpose? To just be a rose. So in that way, he says, what is the purpose? Nothing, just to be. That's all, just be, just do. Our whole life, we are running behind looking for a purpose. When we come to a point, when we say the futility of it all, this is what Arunagirinatha happened. He saw the whole mess up of the whole situation that he is in. The futility of the whole life, he led life like a complete squanderer. He squandered wealth, he squandered his health, he squandered everything that he had. He got leprosy, and he came to a point where he said he started feeling she. We don't come to that point, and which is why on the surface we continue to live. We continue to live on the surface because it's not really somewhere that she poro, cringe enough. That feeling has not happened. And when that happens, that is spiritual start of the spiritual journey. Spiritual journey is not just intellectual appeasement. You have to understand that it is not purely intellectual appeasement. I may know a bunch of shlokas, may know a bunch of shastras, some Vedanta, some words and meanings of words and definitions and all of that I may know. It is all dukrin karane. Nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. This is all that only, just words. Like how Jnaneshwar, Sant Jnaneshwar says, even a buffalo can say the Vedas. And he looked, buffalo started chanting Vedas. The people are stunned. So then what are you different from a buffalo? 50 years ago, there are talks of some teachers or gurus saying that human beings, there will be machines that will be able to write poetry. It will be able to do computation for you. It will be able to think for you. It will be able to create things for you. Today, AI is doing that. ChatGPT is doing that. At that time, what are you? Today, Kalpaka would know AI tools are there to write code, programming code. And for this programming, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, people were recruited. They were recruited because
prompt கொடுக்கிறதுக்கே தனியா ட்ரெய்னிங் இப்ப கொடுக்கணும் போல இருக்கு.
Correct. So there are, absolutely right. There are trainings for how to write AI prompts. So you don't need people to do this kind of work, and it will continue to be in that way. In that way, it will continue to replace human effort. So then the question happens that who are you? What are you? This needs to hit us. So Bhagavan is saying that, oh Arjuna, such a person, for him this has occurred to him that ayyo, this is enough, there's no point in holding on to all of this. I get sukha dukkha. What does he say here? Sukha dukkha Samasukha dukkha swastha samaloshta ashmakanchana. Whether it is gold or whether it is clay, he acts similar in his response to it is similar. That doesn't mean that we have gold and then we are going to treat it like clay. You give the respect it requires, because you got to have, if you've got gold, you have to respect it, right? You have to keep it safe so that it can be of use. But that is transactional in nature. That is for transactional purposes. It does not constitute the way your psyche is going to operate. In your psyche, we should not think that at the end of the day, it's a substance. It has a value. It has value. That is all it is. It has value for what? It has a transactional value. If you go give gold, you'll get money. If you get money, you'll be able to buy food. You'll be able to buy clothes. That's all. That is the value of it. So you give it that much respect. That's about it. But don't make it the primary purpose or cause of what you're living for. So when you're saying a sannyasi or a parityagi, somebody who has given up all of this, how does he see this? He sees them equally. He sees them as though he is not impacted by them severely. See, understand this. Do not think that these are only applied to a bunch of people who are yogis, sannyasis, swamijis, or such kind of people. It can be applied by each one of us if we think it is important to live this way. That is all. You have to realize and feel that yes, this is the right way to live. I should not be drawn by this. I should not be pulled down by this. I should not be beaten by the three gunas. Then he goes on to say, Mam cha yovya abhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So one who is devoting himself, bhakti yogena sevate. Yo yah abhicharena, which means avyabhicharena, which means without any doubt, without any wavering, bhakti yogena sevate, worships me through bhakti yoga. Sa gunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So that such a person rises above the three gunas, rises above the three gunas very easily. And then goes on to say, Brahmano hi pratisthaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasyaikantikassya cha. Says, I am that basis. Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Aham Brahmano hi pratishtha. Amritasya avyayasya cha. I am Amritaha, immortal. I am Avyaya, unchangeable, imperishable. Shashvataha, I am Sanatana, I am eternal. I am Dharma, I am of the form of Dharma, Dharmasya. Sukha, Sukhasya, Ekantikasya. I am Ekantakasya means I am Ekanta, Eka I am that one which is unending. I am one, I am unending. I am that Brahman. When he's saying I am that Brahman, he is also meaning that you are that. We are that. Or if you take him as that Brahman, he is saying that you are somebody like a yogi or a parityagi or a spiritual aspirant, a sadhaka. If he devotes himself in devotion to me, can attain to this understanding. So think about it. We live a life of baddha, means bounded. We're fretted. We are bounded by chains. By what? By our desires. Sorry. We are bounded by our desires. We are bounded by our fears. We are bounded by our aspirations. We are bounded by the three gunas. We are bounded. When we talk about liberation, a lot of us may think that liberation, moksha, is after death. If somebody is died, we say moksha அடைஞ்சிட்டாருன்னு. இல்ல. Unfortunately, no. பரமபதத்தை அடைஞ்சிட்டார் அப்படின்லாம் சொல்றோம். அதெல்லாம் we pray that the soul has attained to Paramapadam or Shiva's feet, Lord Shiva's feet, Vishnu Narayana's feet, or it has attained to moksha. But that is not true. You couldn't have it couldn't have been possible that you're living a completely wretched in your mind, you're worried, disturbed, distressed, and you've died and you'll got Paramapadam and moksha. That is so unfair to those people who are really doing hardcore sadhana, right? If death could deliver you, then what about those people who are seriously taking up to Adhyatma sadhana? Those who are wanting to release themselves from this bondages. So, understand that moksha is not release at time of death. Moksha is the release from these bondages while you are living. While we are living, if we can, within us, things will bind us on the outside. Understand, do not mix paramarthika with vyavaharika, which means do not mix spiritual understanding with transactional living. You look at the sky, and if somebody is asking you what is the color of the sky, a science student would know that the color is not blue because sky is colorless. But our eyes are constrained, and because of that, the sky looks blue, and he will say, yes, it is blue. If somebody asks you, who are you? You will say your name. You will not say na brahmachari, na grihi, na vanaprasthi, na sannyasi. I will not say those things. Chidananda Swarupoham. We will not say these things. If somebody is giving an application form, adula vandu Shivakkevaloham. அங்கே கிழிச்சு போட்டுருவோம் அப்போ. Transactional world, you have to say, okay, my name is this, my place is this is where I live. That's for the body and the mind. But do you really believe that is the question. So in Adhyatma Marga, we are trying to say that let's not believe in something that is, we understand intuitively that it is not the truth. So this unbelieving process is the whole process. Like Swami Vivekananda says, the whole process of spiritual pursuit is dehypnotizing yourself. Now we have hypnotized ourselves to believe that I am this body, I am this mind, I am so and so person, I am this personality. Dehypnotizing ourselves is the process. So this is liberation. This is the moksha that we get from the three gunas. So we continue. We know, yes, I am going to be, this body is going to be subjected by the three gunas. The mind is going to be subject to three gunas. Intellect is going to be subject to three gunas. The senses are going to be subject to three gunas. Karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, all are subject to three gunas. I can't suddenly say, I'm going to levitate. I did Bhagavad Gita 5 times and I want to start levitating. I want to start feeling. That will not happen. Your body will still know. Your body will always remind you that your physical form is of this earth. It will always remind you. But in your psychological space, within your understanding of who you are, has that transformed. This is all the work is. The work is we are transforming, we are moving away from the recognition that I am the body only, I am the mind only. We are moving away from that recognition and bringing ourselves to say that I am this Aham Atma Brahma, I am Atma Brahma, I am this you call it whatever, Atma, you Chaitanya, Brahman, whatever name we give. When we sit, we know this, there is this Aham. Aham Adhyatma Mandalasya Upanishad. So this whatever is this Aham that I'm experiencing, everybody experiences. Turn off all lights, switch off everything, no sound, no light, no breeze, nothing. And if somebody comes and asks, "Are you there?" we will say, "Yes, I am here." And that I am here is the recognition of that center. The more and more we bring ourselves to that, then you're Gunatita. Trigunatita. The Trigunatita doesn't mean that suddenly tomorrow when I go put my finger on the fire, it will not burn. It will still burn because the body is still made of the gunas. Fire is still made of the Trigunas. It will burn. We shouldn't, that is where we shouldn't mix these two things. But within us, we should know that Loshta, Ashma, Kanchana, all of this are the same. Be it clay, be it iron rod, be it gold, Sukha Dukkha Samasthaha. Sama Sukha Dukkha Swasthaha. I am remaining in this, whether it's Sukha or Dukkha, I continue to remain. This is the essence of Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. 14th chapter. This is the essence of the chapter. So Bhagavan is again pointing out to Arjuna is that don't get swayed. You will be you will have the influence of the world on you. You will have the influence of the body on you, but don't take it for real and get swayed by it. This is what he is reminding. Right? So the verse then he says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya avyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya kantikasya cha. I am that Brahman, I am that immortal, I am that imperishable, I am that eternal, I am that dharma, I am that eka, I am that single one, I am the antikasya, I am the unending one. So with that we come to the close of 14th chapter. 15th chapter we'll pick up after the break. Purushottama Yoga. It is very beautiful. Then we have 15, 16, 17, 18. 4 chapters to go. Okay. So we'll close with that today. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarva Buddhyatmana va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayati Samarpayami Sadashivayati Samarpayami Jagadambiketi Samarpayami Sadgurunathayati Samarpayami Hari Om Tat Sadgurubhyo Namaha.